If you've been applying to jobs and it feels like a full-time job just to apply, custom resumes, rewritten cover letters, endless job application portals, hopefully this video is going to feel like a relief. Because I'm going to let you in on a secret that a lot of people don't know or just don't tell you. The secret is simple. While you get bogged down time after time with all these different companies, job boards, and even ghost jobs, you may have missed out on a quiet sector that is hiring thousands of new employees. That sector is your state or local government, because government hiring doesn't work like that. And once you understand the system, you can apply to a lot of government jobs without burning yourself out. My name is Brian, and I have spent a lot of time in state and local government. I've had a good government career that has led to a good salary, a nice lifestyle, and a lot of benefits. Today, I want to tell you how to start so you can achieve the same. So if you want the key steps on a stable career with good pay and benefits, give me a subscribe and let's get into this one. So this isn't about spamming applications, and it's not about mass applying the way people mean it in maybe like tech or other big name private industries. It's about setting yourself up once so the system does most of the work for you, because that's how state and local government hiring is designed. In the private sector, every company is like its own little universe. Different resumes, different formats, different expectations. Just jump on LinkedIn for like 10 minutes to an hour and read some of the posts from the multitude of recruiters out there. You're going to find a ton of different advice and my favorite, contradicting statements. One recruiter tells you that you absolutely have to have a professional statement on the top of your resume or they're just going to look right past you. The next tells you that they don't want a professional statement and it's a complete waste of yours and their time. One tells you that your resume should be no longer than 1 page. The next tells you that it's okay to have 2 or 3 pages. These are the people that you have to navigate through to get into those big private industry jobs. And of course, it's going to lead to a lot of heartburn and frustration. So here's a real truth. Government hiring isn't like that. Most government agencies use standardized platforms, standardized job classes, and standardized screening criteria. They're not trying to be impressed. They're trying to be consistent, which means the leverage isn't clever wording. It's having a complete accurate profile in the system. Here's the mistake I see people make all the time. They treat government applications like private sector ones. They rewrite their resume every single time for every single job. They overthink the keywords and they burn out after like 5 applications. For the public sector, that is completely backwards. In government, your goal is to build a strong base profile, clearly document your experience, and answer supplemental questions carefully. Once that's done, applying to additional jobs becomes easy. Not instant, but repeatable. This is why platforms like governmentjobs.com exist. They're designed so you build your profile once, upload your documents once, clearly document your experience, then apply across multiple agencies using that same application as your foundation. You're not shortcutting the process in this, you're using it the way it was built. This is especially powerful if you're applying across cities or counties or state agencies, looking at multiple different job classifications, trying to get your foot in that door. So when people say mass apply in the private sector, it can mean so many things. I've seen it even mean using AI systems that will like automatically write your resume for you and send it out to different jobs. When we say mass applying in government, what we mean is one solid profile, clean, honest experience descriptions, targeting roles that you actually qualify for, and letting volume come from range, not randomness. In this, you're not gaming the system, you're participating in it correctly. Government hiring rewards completeness and consistency, not cleverness. You see, there's a compliant aspect to government hiring. We aren't looking for fancy pedigrees as much as whether you fulfill the requirements of the job. I like to see government hiring as what a lot of hiring used to be. We aren't necessarily impressed with the fact you worked for Apple or Google or some other big name company, but we want to see that you are able to leverage your experience in whatever it is you've done to fit the roles that we're recruiting for. Recruiters for private industry will tell you that to sell yourself, you have to have all these metrics about how you increase productivity by 75%, implementing a system you personally designed, which resulted in a 50% decrease in some other metric. Government is different. We want to see what you performed at your previous roles and that your career history lines up with the role that we are looking for. So once your profile is done and it's all set up, something changes. You stop feeling like every application is a gamble. Every rejection is personal, and every posting requires a complete reinvention of yourself and a brand new resume. Instead, applying becomes more administrative, not emotional. And that's exactly how government hiring is meant to feel. Government applications are very clear about the requirements, and there's usually little to no flexibility. If you qualify, and if you don't, you don't, plain and simple. You see, government has to follow different rules. We can't toss your application because we don't like that you worked for a competitor. Our application and hiring process are even often open to a thing called public disclosure, meaning that if you feel that something was unfair, you can file a disclosure request on things like applications that were submitted, scoring results, interview documentation, etc. Tossing candidates for superfluous reasons, the way that private companies do, would show unfairness in government hiring and would be super embarrassing for a public agency. So here's the trick. Most state and local governments hire on a website called governmentjobs.com. Not all of them use it, but a ton do. There are a few other systems out there, and some governments still use their own internal network, but a lot of county, city, and state agencies are using governmentjobs.com. What most of these systems will all have in common is that once you build a profile in that system, even if you're applying to another agency, you can use your profile from the previous system. Now, here's the part you really need to know, especially when it comes to resume. Generally, the resume is just an add-on. The meat and potatoes of these applications are going to be where you're filling out your profile, such as your job duties, your education. Fill these sections out comprehensively and don't hold back. We want to see what you did, particularly if it relates to the work that you would be doing in this job that you're applying for. If you answered multi-line phone systems, dealt with difficult customers, processed massive amounts of paperwork, set up data networks, managed heavy machinery, anything, describe it here. But whatever you do, do not say "see resume." Like I said, the resume is just a supporting document here. If you don't fill in the application block, the resume could get missed and you're simply passed over for not meeting requirements. So once you have those filled out, you have built a profile. And that profile can be used to apply to every single job in that system. Even attached documents like cover letters, resumes, letters of recommendations, college transcript. These are all usually saved, so you can just attach them to every job you apply for. And now here's the real pro tip to this. When you look at a job and you decide that you want to pursue it based on what you read, your first click should be to the additional questions section. These are going to be the make or break of your application. Generally speaking, these are the questions that are going to speak to the job requirements. Questions like, do you have 3+ years of experience in customer service? Do you have a bachelor's degree? And a lot of other questions that come off of the actual job requirements list. If you can't reasonably give a positive response to these questions, you can pretty much assume that you will be filtered out and you can just move on to the next. Now, it's okay to relate a role that you've done to the one that you're applying for, even if it isn't exactly the same, but outright dishonesty isn't going to help. I remember having one candidate who marked that he had 2 years of compliance and regulation experience. Then in the description part where it asks to support that answer, he listed that he worked at a mall kiosk. Without any other further explanation on that, it just simply doesn't work. You see, these questions are where the compliance aspect comes in. It weeds a lot of people out, but it also helps those who are truly qualified for the role. This is the part where hiring managers are systematically prevented from just hiring their friends who lack the requisite experience for the job. So if you've been out there throwing out a lot of applications and you're just trying to get a break into a job, I know the job market is tough, but you should really give your state or local government a real look-see. Get onto governmentjobs.com or go to whatever your city or your county website is and hit either their human resources button or their careers page. Take a look at what they have. There are a lot of good paying careers with good salaries, good benefits, paid time off, healthcare, retirement, lots of benefits for you. If you haven't really seen these jobs, it's not because they're not out there. It's just because they're not really talked about. You don't really see these on Indeed and LinkedIn. You generally have to go to these specific websites to find these roles. So if you're serious about government work, your first real move isn't just sending 50 applications, it's setting up the system correctly so applying doesn't drain you. Build the profile once and then just apply within reason. Simply let the process work. If you want more honest breakdowns of how government careers actually work, go ahead and give me a subscribe and I will see you in the next one.